I'm no quitter, 'cause I'ma go get her. I'm no quitter.
Yo, welcome back, man, to Shootout with Nick and Khari. It's your boy Nick. Unfortunately, Mr. Khari can't be here with us today. He's away visiting family. Wish him all the best. Salute to you, my young brother. So, we're going to move forward without him. I'm going to make this short and sweet. I ain't going to be here too long with y'all. First of all, let's talk about my Lakers. Because that's my squad. Right now, we having problems on defense, man. I really don't know what to say except, we have to communicate better. LeBron can be a good defender, but right now he's struggling defensively. Rajon Rondo is a good defender. He's struggling defensively. Our communication is terrible. I said this time, like I said before, I feel as though Lonzo Ball has to play more than Rondo does for this team to be successful. Now if he has a bad night, yeah, you take him out. Let Rondo play some. It happens. But Lonzo Ball just fits his team so well. He's a 6'6" point guard. He plays great defense. But I feel like we'll be better defensively as the season goes on, and guys get used to playing with each other. Another thing, Tyson Chandler, Tyson Chandler should be joining the Lakers here, and that'll definitely help, in the backup center role, so that when we take JaVale McGee off the floor, we can bring in a legit defender at the center spot. No disrespect to Zubac, he's okay. He's not Tyson Chandler. I'm just keeping 100. JaVale McGee has been playing lights out, though. He's really impressed me so far this season, and I hope he can continue that. So far, we're 4-6. Right now, we 12th in the West. It's not good, but at the same time, it's still super early. We can make a run. I feel as though we'll at least make the playoffs. Besides, Houston is 3-5 right now. They're behind us. So if you feel like Houston gonna make it, you got to feel confident in the fact that LeBron and Luke Walton, Magic, Lonzo, everybody are gonna get together and we're gonna get this thing turned around. Now, let's move on to the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets assistant coach. I ain't even gonna say his name. I ain't gonna mess it up like that. But he was basically the assistant coach last year. He was the defensive guru. He retired at the end of the season. They basically begged him into coming back this year, and they need it. Right now, the Houston Rockets are 3-5, and the defense is absolutely horrible. It's not really much of a surprise. You let go of two of your best defenders and replace them with Carmelo Anthony. Melo, great scorer. At one point in time, he might have been the best scorer in the NBA. And he still can get buckets. He's not playing defense. It's not who he is. It's never been who he was. He's never been a defender. It's just what it is. So hopefully with him returning after Thanksgiving, I believe it is, they can get that together, man. I still don't see how he's going to benefit too much because James Harden still not going to play defense. Carmelo still not going to be good on defense. So you basically left with an undersized point guard that's, he's a pretty good defender, and Clint Capella. And that's pretty much the limit of your defensive players right there. Well, P.J. Tucker is a great defender. No disrespect to P.J. Tucker. He's a great defender. But other than that, it's going to be tough, and it's going to be very difficult. That's pretty much it in the West. Golden State, they rolling. Klay Thompson broke Steph Curry's record that Steph Curry had just recently set as far as threes. So there's nothing new. We know everybody expects that out of those guys. They the best shooting backcourt ever in the history of basketball. They lead the West right now at 9-1. Denver second at 8-1, followed by Portland, San Antonio, Memphis, Sacramento, the Clippers, and OKC, who is actually getting things together now 500 right now on the year at 4-4. So they look like they're coming together and playing better as the season goes on. Utah is right now sitting at the 9th spot. Utah and New Orleans both have a 4-5 record. They're 9-10 respectively, followed by Minnesota at 4-6. The Lakers at 4-6. Houston 3-5. Phoenix 2-7, and Dallas at 2-7. So, things can always shake up and be different. It's a long season. This is just the beginning. They played 10 out of 82 games, so it's 72 more of these things before anything significant is decided. So, we'll keep an eye on it though, man. I'm gonna keep y'all updated. I do look for my Lakers to get it turned around. Luke Walton may be on the hot seat. You know, reports are that he and Magic Johnson had we'll say a heated meeting. I'm saying that way. They had a heated meeting. You know, people say they were yelling, you know, raised voices or whatever. But Magic supports him. You know, Magic says he will not be fired. He will be their coach. So we'll see how it plays out, man. Another thing I want to talk about is Serge Ibaka. Against the Lakers, Serge Ibaka had 34 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists. And I hadn't really followed Toronto to closely to that extent. So I just assumed it was an anomaly. I mean, I know Serge Ibaka. He's a good player. I remember when he was with OKC, he could score. Great defender. But what happened is, I did a little research. He had 30 points last week as well. And what's going on is they moved him from the power forward position, and they placed him at center. And they brought Valanciunas off the bench now. So you put Serge at center, that allows him to play more freely because he's more comfortable playing the center spot rather than the forward. Now, if they play against, you know, a bigger center, such as Steven Adams or DeMarcus Cousins or somebody like that, they'll start Valanciunas and then, you know, they'll change their rotation a little bit to match up better. But when you're playing against someone like JaVale McGee, who is decent, but you feel like Serge Ibaka can handle that matchup, it frees him up. And a lot of his points came off of putbacks or on switches due to lack of communication with the Lakers. Again, because anytime JaVale McGee had to switch off of him, he was taking advantage of that matchup. That's going to be a problem if you don't bring in a Tyson Chandler or somebody like that that can help shore up some of that defensive rotation, and you also must work on communication. You must communicate. If you're not communicating, you're going to have people left wide open, like Rondo and LeBron left Kyle Lowry wide open to just walk into a three. That can't happen, especially on an undersized team that want to get something down the floor. You got to play defense, man. It must start on the defensive end. That's why Houston won't be successful in Mike D'Antoni's system without defense. Just my opinion, but it's my opinion. In the Eastern Conference, you know, Toronto is leading right now at 9-1. The Bucks 8-1. Indiana 7-3. Boston 6-3. Philly 6-5. Charlotte, surprisingly, right now 5-5 and in the 6th seed. Detroit 4-4 in the 7th spot. Brooklyn 4-6 right now in the 8th seed though. Miami 3-5 and I'm a 9th. Atlanta 3-6 at 10th spot. Orlando 3-6 in the 11th spot. New York 3-7. Washington 2-7. Chicago 2-8. Cleveland 1-8. I want to start with talking about Cleveland. Y'all fired Tyronn Lue as if he was the problem, and he's not the problem. The problem is you lost the best player in basketball, and you didn't replace him with anything. And you have a team full of misfits, and they don't fit. It's just what it is. I mean, you have a few good players, but they're not playing well together, and that's why you're 1-8. Washington Wizards. I don't know what's going on with Washington. Washington is a team that should be in the top 4 of the Eastern Conference every year. And it's still early. They can still get things turned around. But with John Wall and Bradley Beal and Otto Porter, it's going to have to happen fast, man. And with the addition of Dwight Howard, even though he's injured right now, I look for them to really make a push in the East. If they don't, Scott Brooks would not make it to the end of the season, man. Because Scott Brooks is doing the same thing in Washington that he was doing in OKC, and that's really a whole lot of nothing. You know what I mean? In Oklahoma City, they were about here every year, and they are still about here. Like, he's not elevating the play of his players. And with a good coach is supposed to take the talent that you have and improve it or put them in situations to be successful. And clearly he isn't doing that right now with a 2-7 record in the Eastern Conference. Still early. Still time, you know, for them to get hot and go on a winning streak and move up in the rankings. But right now they're 13th in the East with 2-7. It's not looking good. He may be the second coach fired in this early season. I don't want nobody to get fired. That's just what I see coming. The big story to me in the Eastern Conference, though, is the Milwaukee Bucks. I knew they were good. I knew they had talent. I knew that last year. But Giannis Antetokounmpo is just playing on a whole different level from everybody in the NBA right now. This man is literally either first or second in all 5 major categories on this team. He averaged 13.9 rebounds per game. That's first. 26 points. That's first. 5.9 assists. That's second. 1 steal. 1.4 blocks. Second in both of those categories. Behind different people at that. So, right now, he's the MVP. Like, again, it's super early. Things can always change. But if he continues to play at the pace he's playing at, he will win the MVP. And in my personal opinion, if he can consistently do this and put up those numbers for this entire season, I feel like you would have to bump him up closer to that number 1 spot in the NBA. Because right now, LeBron is not playing like the best player in the NBA. He's just not. I mean, you could argue with me, you could disagree with me. To be the best player in the NBA, you must play on both ends of the floor. You must affect your team in every way. Giannis is being the best player right now. So far this season, he's been the best player in the NBA. Bar none. No disrespect to Steph Curry. He's scoring a lot of points, and that's great. Kawhi Leonard's playing great. They played each other. Milwaukee won. I'm in the story, right? All right. Let's see. The only loss the Bucks actually have on the season is to the Boston Celtics in a 117-113 loss in Boston. And that's to be expected from me, to my opinion, because Brad Stevens is the best coach in the NBA. And he also has one of the deepest teams in the NBA. They legit can probably put 2 different 5-man units on the floor and compete with almost anybody. Like, seriously, their second unit is that good. With Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, Marcus Morris, those guys can really play, man. Like, for real. So, at this point in the year, it's still early. Still nothing been really decided. Teams are starting to get it together a little bit, though. So I look for Washington to either get it together or fire Scott Brooks. The Bucks, I look for them to continue to have success because they match up very well. And Giannis is just playing on another level right now. So if you ask me, my opinion right now today, I feel like the Bucks are still the favorite in the East. And Golden State has to still be the favorites in the West. I mean, nothing has happened so far this week to make me change my mind on that. We can keep an eye on it like we will do, throughout the season and update from here, some here and there every week or whatnot. But that's pretty much it, man. That's all I have to speak on today. This is short and sweet. Come by myself. I don't want to keep your guys too long. I know how boring it can get listening to one person just talk. But again, man, I appreciate you. Enjoy. If you do, like, share, comment. Let your friends listen to it. Check us out. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocketcasts, and several others, man. I'll leave some of the links in the description. As always, man, I appreciate you. Shootout with Nick and Khari, man. Till next time.
Yeah.